it out today. We're trying to get some progress done. I've already done quite a bit as far as this project's going today. Uh, if you don't know anything about these Jeep YJs, the original ones, uh, their safety roll bars actually came way back here and all the way down. So that's what we're working on today. I'm gonna get that done. I've already got them bent. I took some polystyrene straws and I heated them up and bent them. I got two matching. I've already got them cut to size. These are the right one? No, that's my test one. Where's my good one go? Where'd you go? Oh, there it is. There it is. All right, so these are my two finished pieces. I got them pretty close to even. We're gonna have to bend one just a smidge when we put this together. I've already got two holes drilled. What else to catch you guys up on? Let's get these sort of in place. They're gonna sit kind of like that. Like I said, this one I didn't get the bend perfect on this one, so like we're gonna have to push this one in a little bit and then drill a hole up through it. But we'll get that done here in just a second. Let's get you back on there. I got the top part of this notched so that it'll kind of sit in there a little better. I am going to glue these in place with E6000, and that'll hold them in place pretty good. Yeah, about that much. Whoa! The one that doesn't want to stay on there is actually the one that fits right. This one's just holding tension right now. That's why it's staying put. Which, if I put them side by side, that bend is just a little higher. But hopefully you won't notice that when I'm done. I'm hoping that I can trim that and get that bend to line up just perfectly on this side. Where is my tape? Because I need my tape. There we go. I had some tape up here to hold this in place. Because this is the one I want to replicate. This one's close, but it's not quite there yet. Which we're going to work on that. Because this is too far back. And if it's too far back, I have a magnetic top that I'm going to slide on and off of this for the show and shine and stuff. So I need to be able to get this on and off without rubbing these bars because they're going to have fabric on them. We're going to do that today too. I got the tan fabric. We're going to cut the fabric and glue it around there. If I can find the right glue. Ah, there it is. Perfect. Look at me. It's almost like I planned to do a live stream today. So we're going to be using, come on, focus, focus, focus. We're going to be using canopy glue, evergreen scale models adhesives. The cool thing about this stuff is it goes on white and then dries clear. So you won't see this. And you can actually glue fabric and stuff with it, and it'll, you can glue around like glass and whatnot, like the glass and stuff, and this won't fog it up like some adhesives will. Like if you use super glue around this glass or something, you'll get a white fog around there. This does not do that. This is water based. It takes a full 24 hours to cure, so that's, that's going to be an all day project waiting on that to dry. However, I don't plan on driving this for a while. This is, to my knowledge, unless I get really crazy with some kind of master build or something, this is what I'm taking to beat the creek, if I can get it finished in time. Hopefully we can. We're going to try and get this finished, and we'll see. I took the rear seats out of this because I didn't really like the way these bars were. I'm like, anybody sitting in there is losing their head if you roll this thing. But now that I'm going to be putting these bars in here, and they are going to be structural. I don't know if they can take like a serious rollover or anything, but they're going to be structural. I'm going to have screws up through here to where they can hold that a little bit. But that looks so much better. The rear seat looks so much better in there with those bars. Let's see if I can get you a better angle. But yeah, I'm okay with the rear seat with these bars. Without those bars, I was going to run it just kind of like a pickup bed or something like that, but I don't know. I've seen a couple of guys on Facebook doing something similar to this. I don't know if this is exactly what they did. This is what I'm doing. So we're gonna see how it goes. I'm assuming this is the right way to do it, but who knows? I mean, I know some people TIG weld and make like a full metal cage and stuff. And like I would do that if I had a TIG welder. I mean, I know how to TIG weld and all that stuff, but it's one of those things. If I don't have the equipment, I'm gonna find a cheaper alternative. And a pack of these polystyrene straws, I think, was like $3, $3 or $4 for a whole pack of them. So I had plenty to test. I only messed up one. I heated this up and tried to bend it by hand, and I got a bunch of wonky bends in there, and it wasn't straight. You see that? That looks all kinds of goofy. That looks like garbage. It was trash. So I tossed that, and then I bent these on a countertop to get a nice flat bend in them. That way they're straight. Let me get you back on there. Thank you. Yep, we're working on making it a little more realistic, trying to make it true to a one-to-one, one step at a time. But yeah, these bars, they're fairly straight. I bent them on the countertop to keep them straight versus bending them by hand with this one, because like that, you can see the difference. That looks like garbage. I don't like that. So now that we got our holes drilled here, I've got to drill holes down here. And once we have all our holes drilled, then I'm going to take some E6000, get that all centered in there real good. And then we'll get started on fabric wrapping. And that'll be pretty fun. I'm going to take this seat out for now. We'll put that in maybe when we're done with everything. I don't want to accidentally drip glue on it or anything like that. I probably should take all the seats out, but that's a whole process, and I don't feel like doing that. We're just going to be really careful around there. That's what we're going to do. We're going to be very careful. Drilling holes. So the easiest way to do this would be to eyeball it and hope for the best. At least that's what I'm going to do. If I can find my drill bit. Where did that run off to? Need my tiny drill bit. This is a tiny one. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Tool I had 5 seconds ago. This is a 1/18th. Yeah, 1/18th. Way too small for like standard hardware, but I got to start somewhere. I used to have a drill bit that was absolutely perfect for putting in hardware and stuff. It would go in and be snug and everything like that. And I don't even remember what size it was. So, and I'm pretty sure I broke that like a couple years ago. So now I just take this one, drill it, and then use a coarse thread screw through there, and then follow it with a fine thread screw. And, you know, it adds an extra step, but at least it's done. So we're just going to eyeball this and hope I get it right. So, whoop, and there's a magnet there, so that's going to mess me up a little bit. Let's go right there and hope that's good enough. Let's slide you out of the way for a second. Right about there. Woo! There goes a hole in the gas tank. That'll be good for fuel mileage. All right. You know, I'm always so nervous about drilling holes in this specific truck. I don't know if you know anything about these, but these were a limited edition, and you can't get them anymore. So if you mess this up, the only way you're going to get one is buying it from somebody who bought it new, or you know a guy who knows a guy or something like that. But you don't want to mess this particular body up. Now, you can still get the Michigan body. However, it will not be a Jurassic Park edition. They do not make those anymore. So I'm trying to be really careful with all the holes I drill in here. I don't want it to mess anything up too bad. So we got that hole drilled. Now I need to find a coarse thread screw. Let's use that. That'll work. And we'll just kind of tap it with a coarse thread screw. Like I said, if you had the right size drill bit, you could skip this step altogether. But I do everything on the cheap. A lot of people think that I spend a crap ton of money doing all this hobby stuff and whatnot. And realistically, I just find a cheaper alternative. That's 90% of all this stuff that I do. What's up? But yeah, I mean, I think we're up to like maybe 20 different trucks now. And yeah, the initial cost of the truck, yeah, that costs money. Don't get me wrong. It's definitely an expensive hobby, but some of these guys, especially people who pay other people to build their trucks for them, I ain't got that kind of money. I do my own stuff. And not only do I do my own stuff, but I don't have a 3D printer either. So like I have to make my own stuff. Like for these notches and stuff, I just cut with a hobby knife the notches in there to get them to seat in. And I mean, it worked. I'm sure there's a special, easy, fancier way to make a perfect notch or something, but you're not going to see any of this stuff. It's all going to be wrapped. So why bother trying to make it perfect if it's just getting covered up? What is a good, that'll work, right? That's pretty long. I'm going to try and use long screws to kind of hold this in place, because what I'm planning on doing is once I put the screw up through there, I'm going to push some E6000, some adhesive down in there, and then I'm going to set it on the screw. And then once it dries and hardens and everything, which E6000 is kind of like rubber, but once it hardens, it should provide a good, sturdy, hopefully impact resistant brakes. I'm hoping. We'll see. I mean, I'm not going to intentionally roll this thing just to see if the roll bar works or not, because if it is going to break, I don't want to mess up all this work I just did. And it'll probably break right there at the bends, is what I'm guessing. So we're going to try not to roll it, by all means. If I'm doing anything super sketchy that involves rolling, I'll probably have the top on it. And the top is a hard plastic top, so there's the top for it. So that'll protect these bars, probably, I hope. And yeah, 20, I think I got about 20 different ones. They're all different. I got, quite a few Jeeps. I got the Chevy. We got just all kinds of stuff. You just check the channel out, you'll see them all. They're all over the place. So I got one of these, and that should be good to go. I'm hoping I can drill up this way. That's what I was planning on doing. Yeah. I think what we need to do, let's try and go down first, and then we'll thread it back up the other way. I'm hoping. Here's hoping. That coarse thread screw might have not been big enough. I don't think it was. Let's try it again. Bigger screw. Bigger screw. I need maybe that. Yeah, that'll probably do it. Try not to waller this hole out too much. I do want it to be threaded in the plastic to kind of give it a little more of a structural integrity. I'll get a couple of threads down that way. Hopefully I'm not drilling into anything important. I didn't even bother looking down there. I have lights wired up in here, so hopefully I didn't nick any of those lights. We'll find out. We'll turn the power on, and if I don't have lights, I know I did something wrong. But it's part of the learning process. You're always learning. Learn every day. Might learn what not to do quite a few times. Yeah, that's better. All right. We don't, let's do this one. I'm going to thread these by hand so I don't strip it. We're force threading this, but I'm going to thread it downwards, and then I'm going to flip the screw head around and go up that way. That way it'll hold on this side. Hopefully. Can I? Oh, wow. That might be tough, but we'll get it. There we go. There we go. That was like right on the edge. All right, that's threaded all the way through now. So now I'm going to flip the screw around and thread it back up the other way. Getting my wrist workout today. I probably could use a drill on that, but like I just got done saying, I really don't want to mess anything up on this body. I guess I'll just have to eyeball it from underneath and hope it goes in correctly. Hopefully. Can I see it? Where's the light? Is that the light? Hey, all right, first try. Still gonna do this by hand just in case. I don't want to over torque it. But this is gonna thread up. Nice thing is, with that E6000, that takes about 24-hour cure too. So all of this stuff I'm doing, if I mess anything up, as long as it's not too bad, I have time to fix it before everything hardens up. So I have a pretty good window. Gosh dang. I think this is a 32mm screw. It's pretty long. I used to have longer ones, but I used them on other projects, so this is what we're doing for today anyway. Come on. Let's get this all the way up. Oh, you know what? I didn't even think about that. That'll work, right? We can make that. Oh, yeah, yeah. We'll slide that, and then we'll screw this one in. Yeah, that'll work, because these will be harder to get to. I don't know if you can understand my ADHD ramblings, but it'll make sense when it's done. Is it done yet? Okay, there we go. Good. Yeah, that's pretty sturdy. That's a pretty sturdy stud, and it's threaded in there, so that should help. So we got one done. That's going to slide on there with the E6000, and I'll probably put E6000 in here, and then I'll thread this in with the drill just to be a little quick, and then we'll get started on wrapping. So now we got to drill one more hole. This one's going to be a little bit of a challenge because now I have to match it up with this one because I want them to be even. And about there, yeah, about there. I have to push that one in just a smidge because the bend did not match up perfectly. So as long as they're even this way, which they're parallel that way, and then height-wise, that's another thing I need to look at is height-wise. Oh, they're pretty close. Pretty close. I could honestly probably shave the bottom. I could shave the bottom of this one down just a hair, which I think that's what I'll do. Just for continuity, I want it to match. I want it to match the other side as much as possible. So I'm going to shave off probably a couple millimeters, if that. And take a hobby knife. We're going to go probably about there. Woo! Don't lose a finger. There we go. That was probably like maybe 2 millimeters. Maybe like 1.75 millimeters or something. I mean, we barely took anything off. They were pretty close, but I wanted to be a little closer. I'm trying not to be a perfectionist because that's just going to stress me out trying to get this build done. But I want it to be close, you know, from the ground to your eyeballs. I want it to look perfect. Which means it doesn't have to be perfect at all, because that's like, you know, that's like a good 5-ish feet away. And if it looks good from 5 feet away, man, you're golden. All right, so that was there. So we're going to put the hole right at the tip on the inside of that marker. Okay, so let's set you off to the side, and we drill us another hole. You guys see me good? Let me back up a little bit. There we go. I know this isn't the best angle, but I'm trying to get you guys to see what I'm doing. We're going to go right right there. I'm going to go a little bit further in, just a smidge, because I know there's going to be resistance. And I'm going to have to put that, and the hole's going to be a little bit bigger. So I'm learning from the first hole. Hopefully. There we go. 2 holes in the gas tank. Now we're even better on gas mileage. Make it aerodynamic. Alright, and then we're going to force thread this junk screw through there, just so we can get our nice screw through there easily without ripping the threads out or melting it. You can melt plastic if you try and thread stuff in there too fast. It builds up friction and heat and melts it all together. Sometimes you want that, but not today. Alright, we got her in there with the coarse thread screw. Now I have to try and find another one of those, what did I say, 32 millimeters? I don't even know if I have any more. Maybe. Come on. I gotta order more hardware. Hey, that's almost the right size, right? Is that a 30? It is. It is. Okay, cool. The head looks a little worn out on that. Let me make sure it's not stripped. I usually throw the stripped ones away. This one looks a little rough. Be my luck. I'll get it halfway. I'll get it halfway done, and it'll strip out on me, and then I'll have to use pliers to get that thing the rest of the way out. Right? Yep, yep. Yeah, I need to throw that one away. I probably used that on something else. Beans. The joys of going through used hardware. Trying to build a masterpiece. Oh, that's a super long one. I mean, I guess the length really doesn't matter. Especially these ones. I mean, these ones it matters, but this one it really doesn't matter. If I put a longer one in there, it's not really gonna matter. You're not gonna see it. So again, don't stress over perfection on this. Talking to myself anyway. I'm sure there's other people that like really want to stress over every little possible detail. Want to get it perfect. And don't get me wrong, I want to get it perfect too, but I'm not going to cry if it's not perfect. All right, we got that threaded all the way down, I think. Right? Yeah. Now we just got to thread it the rest of the way up. We're cruising right along on this project. This should be, I'm hoping by the end of this live stream, we're going to have these bars completely finished and wrapped. We'll see. I mean, we're 23 minutes in, so. This is an FMS Rock Hobby Michigan. This is a limited edition Jurassic Park truck. And the paint job and everything was actually from the factory. So this is actually a really rare truck. They don't make these anymore. They make the version 2 Michigan. They still make that, but they don't make this one anymore. So I'm trying to be very careful with putting holes in a body that I can't replace. I mean, I could put, like, if I messed this body up, if I cracked it or something like that, I could get the version 2 body and paint it to look like this, sure. But this is an original, and I'm trying to not tear it up. Make it cool, but not tear it up. Yeah, same. Yeah, absolutely, dude. Don't sweat perfection, because, like, one, most people, you're going to be the only person that knows that. Unless you go around telling everybody, which I do the same thing, because someone will say, oh, that's so cool. And I'm like, yeah, but did you see this isn't even right here, you know? And just start immediately putting down your own work. Try to avoid that at all costs. I do my very best. I mean, I try not to get a big head about anything, but Try not to sweat the little stuff, because it's all little stuff. Let's see if I can find the hole. Where are you at? Come on. There we go. Get that threaded up in there. This should look very cool. I am planning on doing the leaf spring kit eventually, but I really like the coilovers and how scale the truck bounces. And I already know I had the FMS, the Rock Hobby Jimny, and that came with the leaf springs on it. Those leaf springs don't flex at all. There's no flex to it. The thing will not bounce anymore. And I kind of like the scale bounce. So I'm putting off the leaf springs until the last bit. That'll be one of the last things I do when this is like a full-fledged show truck. Then I'll do leaf springs. But for right now, I still drive this. Which, I mean, I drive all my trucks. I drive my leaf spring TF2 Chevy. And, you know, it's got almost no flex. Almost. It's got a little. But I still drive it. I'll probably still drive this even with the leaf springs. I just probably won't have as much fun because once I put leaf springs on this, the ground clearance goes bye-bye. The flexing goes bye-bye. So you're pretty much just going to be running on very small obstacles because I'm not going to want to roll this or flip it once I get all this work done. I do eventually want to put gauges, and I mean, obviously they won't be working gauges, but there'll be gauges in there. Hopefully lit up. Are we done yet? No. This one's going to be longer. Forgot about that. Come on. Let's get her finished. Are we done? That feels like it's done. That's pretty tight. It's pretty on there. All right, so these are going to sit on there like so. Yeah, all right. We got a little bit of tension on there. I'll probably have to tape that to hold it in place while that E6000 dries. But, you know, it is what it is. But that don't look too bad. I mean, that looks pretty straight. Right? We got the bends decent. So that's how it's going to sit. That's not bad. I like that. I did contemplate taking these side bars out, but honestly, it just adds to the structural integrity, so I'm just going to leave them. So we'll just leave that there. But that'll probably get wrapped too, maybe. I'm for sure wrapping this bar, and this bar. I have it undone from the window just in case I need to get into these screws with the drill and stuff, because I can't fit my drill in there with that window all the way up. But yeah, we're cruising right along. I think we're going to get this done soon. Structurally wise. I mean, it's already pretty much done structurally wise. Let's crack that E6000 open and get that part done. Wherever that is. I got multiple tubes of that all over the place. I use E6000 for like everything. If it's not E6000, I mean, E6000 is like the easiest glue to use because it's very forgiving. I have a brand new tube of it. I have a used tube of it somewhere. Oh, see, new and old. Boom. All right, so hopefully this didn't dry up on me. Are we still good? Yeah, we're still good. Okay. So here's the plan, and I hope this works. Where's my tape? Because I'm going to need tape. All right. We got the tape. The tape is on standby and ready to go. So we're going to take this E6000, and I'm going to squooge it in there and stick it on this and hope for the best. Like I said, you got about 24 hours on E6000. So if anything's not sitting right, you have plenty of time to get this fixed. All right, we're going to take that and just kind of fill that up in there. Just put a big old glob. Yep, big old glob. Like so. And then we're going to stick that on there. We're going to do the same thing here. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Just pump a bunch of E6000 in there. Hopefully that's enough. And then we're going to stick it on. And then while that's sitting there, probably just do one at a time. That one's going to be the troublesome one anyway because there's tension on it. Where is a rag? No, I don't want to use a rag. Paper towel. Paper towel. That way I don't get E6000 on the rag because then that'll be there forever once it dries. So let's wipe off the excess a little bit. And like I said, this is going to stay kind of goopy for like an hour or so. And then it takes like a full 24 hours to cure. So here's what we'll do with that. We will, we do have plenty of time. So I'm just going to thread this in by hand so we don't mess it up. Maybe if my wrist can handle that. I don't know. Let's speed up the process a little bit. Right here. Alrighty. So now we're going to take the tape, some masking tape, and we're just going to wrap that in place. I'm going to take this little bit here, just put some tension on it, hold that to there, wrap it around. And that'll hold it in place while it dries. Which, because that's going to take so long, we probably won't get that section wrapped right away. I don't know. It'll take an hour to at least hold it in place. But now let's get this side done. And take our E6000. Whoop. Pump her down in there. Just get a big old gloob. Globby gloob. And then we put that down there. And do the same thing on this side. Pump a bunch in there. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Air bubble. Dang. Oh, I didn't think about that. Yeah, I'm creating an air bubble by doing that. Well, we got at least a good chunk on there. Let's put that there. No, 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 don't drip. Don't drip. Don't drip. Where's the paper towel? Get over there. Get over there. I may have to take the seats out. That was close. Yeah, you definitely don't want to make a mess with this stuff. I mean, if you do, definitely take care of it within an hour. Like I'm doing right now. Like you can wipe it off right now and it's pretty manageable, but you wait around about an hour and then it becomes a whole thing. All right, let's get this worked in there. I'm going in stages because this is plastic and that's metal and friction gets hot and you'll melt the plastic in the threads if you go too fast too quickly. Alrighty, there's that. Let's take our tape. Actually, let's get a new piece of tape that's got stuff all over it. Not that this one's not going to have stuff all over it. It's going to have stuff all over it. I'm already getting it all over my fingers. That there, that there. Alright, not bad, not bad. Now, let's tape it in place. Not that much. What we could probably get done for sure is wrapping these bars first. Like I said, this is a 24-hour cure on that other glue too. This this canopy glue, that's got a 24-hour cure on that also. So everything, I mean, this whole truck's going to be sitting here for at least 24 hours before I do anything. Let's find my fabric scissors, and we are going to start cutting some fabric for these. I don't even know what, are they called Nerf bars? Rollover bars? I don't know. I'm not a Wrangler guy. I have an XJ. Alright, got my fabric scissors. And we're probably just going to eyeball most of this stuff. Let's get our little makeshift whip antenna out of the way here. I made that out of some wire and a pen spring. We're going to possibly do some rust work today, make it a little rusty. I'm not going crazy with it. We're just going to do some, like, you know, some light weathering. But let's get that going here to there. Let's say that much. I don't know, maybe we just cut it on the thing. About to there-ish. There we go. Not going to try and get too fancy with it, because I'm planning on just wrapping this around there until it looks good, until it looks correct. Need a flatter spot to cut this. Let's go here. Surely that's enough. Right. Let's see here. About like that. And then, honestly, we could probably tape that in place and then glue it down. And we just get a tight wrap on it. Let's try that. A little bit of masking tape out there. The glue will be our permanent hold, and the tape will be our temporary hold. Like I said, I'm not cutting this like perfect or anything. Like, we're just slapping it on there because we're going to wrap over it. So, just a little tape like that. Put this around like so. Do I know if this will work? Probably not. But, you know, it's something to try. It might look really cool. We don't know. Try and get a tight wrap on it. That way. Hey, that looks pretty good. Alright. Yeah. I'm alright with that. Yeah. That actually looks padded. Nice. Nice. Hey, I'm okay with that. Alright, so we got about that much left. Ooh, that's going to be right in the worst spot, isn't it? It sure is. I kind of want the seam to be on the inside, not the outside. So, how should we do that? I'm thinking we leave a little bit like this hanging off, and we'll cut that off tomorrow after everything dries. That sounds like a plan to me, I think. Sounds like a good idea. I hope this stuff's still in date. I don't know if this stuff expires or not. We're just going to try not to glue our fingers together. And just dabble some on there. Like I said, it goes on white and then dries clear. But it's called canopy glue. If anybody's Trying to find the right glue to use that's not going to fog your windows up. It's water-based, so it's not got the strongest hold ever, but we're not trying to hold anything structural. Alright, there we go. That didn't take long at all. I'll put the cap back on that so we don't dry that out. We're just gonna... Oh, you know what? What would be nice? If I had a rubber band. Or maybe a twist tie. Maybe we can make something. Oh, you know, I was going to use black zip ties to hold this in place. I had planned that. I just now remembered I had planned that. And now that's completely gone out the window. Will this stay? Is this going to stay there? Ooh, it's going to stay. All right, cool. So, I don't think I even grabbed those, did I? Nope, I did not. So, I guess I'm just going to use this wire. That'll be fine. That'll be fine. Just take this, cut off a couple pieces of wire. Cut that in half. And then that'll hold it down for me. Let's wrap this around like so. Like I said, we got 24-hour cure on this, so we're just going to kind of zip tie it on there. Well, not zip tie, we're twist tying. About like that. And then I'm going to do this one about like that. And then we're going to cut off that excess tomorrow once it's all dry. And that'll keep it from unraveling on us. So that little bit hanging off of there, we're just going to cut that off with scissors or X-Acto knife or something. That way the seam's on the inside. I don't want the seam on the outside. But that's how we're wrapping that bar. I didn't even count how many times that wrapped around. I'm thinking, what was it? 1, 2, at least 3 times, I think. We'll try and get them all the same thickness. I'll try and remember that for the next one. I'll do this side, and I'll count how many times I wrap around it. Oh, I can figure that out right here. I'll just make, I'll just cut the same piece of cloth off, and it'll be however many times it wraps around, and then that'll help me figure out how many times I used. Okay, that'll work. Use some guesstimation math. About there. About there. Get our cut done. There we go. Yeah. So that's however many wraps that amount of fabric is, that's how many that one is. Cool deal. All right, I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side. Hopefully. We'll just do a little bit of tape. Could I use a more permanent tape? Absolutely. Masking tape doesn't last forever, but once everything's put together, this really isn't going to go anywhere. I hope. Let's put it on this side. About there. Just enough. Out there. Don't want no wrinkles. Want to try and make it a tight wrap. And then what should we do? I think we did it this way, right? Yeah. All right, so we're going to go like this. Right to the edge there. Fold that tape in. Tape will hold it in place while we wrap it around. And just try and keep it tight. That looks pretty good. Not bad. Oh, look at me. I didn't count again. All right, so we have 1, 2, and then about 2.5 to get to the front. All right, that'll work. And then we're going to glue. Take our cap, put that in there. Come on. Just gonna booger this in there. Whoop, whoop. Don't drip it on the seats. A little bit right there. Right there. There we go. Get our cap. Fish that out from behind the seat. I really should have took these seats out. I'm running a big risk of dripping glue on them. And I don't want to do that. Come on. Come on. Ah, tiny truck problems. Where are... Here, let's finish the job. Keep this tight. Wrap it around there. Struggling. Come on. Get that on there. Come on. Oh, it's soaking into my fingers. I feel it. That's not bad. That's not bad. Yeah, it's about the same. And we'll take that wire. That wire will help hold it in place. Wherever that went. There we go. I just got a roll of it right here. I'm just going to take off a couple pieces. I use this for lights and stuff like that. I make my own light kits, usually. Sometimes I buy them, but I usually... The generic light kits almost never work for some of the builds that I do. So, most of the time I just make my own. Alright. I got that going. And if you get some of this glue on the outside or something like that, it's not something to freak out about because it's going to dry clear. I'm just going to put a twist in there just to hold it in place. And then, you guys can see a little better. Do the same thing over here. A little twist. And boom. Done. Alright, so those are going to dry. Like I said, we'll cut the excess off after everything dries. And that should look pretty good, I hope. Worst case scenario, if I don't like that seam, because the glue is dry, it should be kind of hard so I can actually twist it to like the bottom or something. I think. I don't know. We're just experimenting with the wraps, trying to make that look good. I got excess right here that I'm going to cut off because I still have to hook that up to there. But I mean, hey, we're getting there. That's pretty good. And we're actually making good enough progress. I mean, we're already almost to an hour on the live stream, so that's probably where we're going to cut it off at anyway, because right now I'm just waiting on glue to dry. I mean, I could wrap this bar and this bar, which I'll probably do that off camera anyway. I am making a full-length video minus what you've seen in this live stream, just so you can kind of see the build progress. I'll have more footage to film tomorrow once all this is dry, and we'll go from there. I'll start doing more interior work. I don't know what I'm going to do for the gauges. We'll figure that out. I may have to outsource and see if somebody can make me some gauges or something. I don't know. But yeah, that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. We definitely made some good progress on this roll cage. And it should look pretty cool sometime tomorrow. All right, guys. I'm going to cut it off there. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, all that good jazz. We'll catch you on the next one.